PoE2's first major content update drops this Friday, and in this video I'll be going over some of the things that you can do now to prepare and some tips to get off to a good start when the new content becomes available. First, you'll need to decide if you're going to be playing the existing league, where any current characters are, or the new league. If you're newer to ARPGs or just PoE as a whole and you're not familiar with how leagues work, leagues are typically 3 to 4 month cycles in the game in which new content will come out and fresh servers will be created to play that content on. These new servers don't have access to your existing stash or anything like that, and they don't share a trade economy with the previous league, so everyone is on an equal playing field starting fresh. Then, when the next league comes out, everything you've done gets transferred to the pre-existing standard league, where everything sort of lives on forever. So your old stuff isn't completely lost, but it's on somewhat of a legacy server, and people generally play on the new league servers. For this update, the new content is coming to both sets of servers immediately though. This is likely the only major update where this will be the case. Normally, the new content will only come to the new league, and then it gets migrated to the pre-existing standard league later. So don't get too used to it, but if you're someone that doesn't have a ton of time, or if you just entirely play SSF, then for Dawn of the Hunt, you could get a head start now by playing on the existing league, and you'll have access to all your gold, stash, and characters to use when the new content drops. Once you've decided where you'll be playing, you need to decide what you want to play. I'm assuming a large majority of people will want to start out with either the Huntress or one of the new Ascendancies. With the Huntress, we'll be getting 2 Ascendancies, the Ritualist and the Amazon. The Warrior will be getting their 3rd Ascendancy, the Smith of Kitava. The Mercenary will be getting the Tactician as their final Ascendancy, and the Witch will be getting theirs as well with the Lich Ascendancy. If you don't mind playing on the old league servers and you want to play one of those 3 Ascendancies on the existing classes, you could create your character now and level up somewhere into Act 2 or even Act 3 if you really wanted to. Just skip doing the Ascendancy trials until the patch drops. Or even if you wanted to play Huntress, you could farm up some gear and currency to make your leveling journey quite a bit easier. A few good rares or unique items can go a long way at low levels and help you level much quicker. Now keep in mind, if you do this, there are a ton of balancing updates coming, and we don't have release notes for them yet, but in interviews they've said that when it comes to balance and which skills perform well, you should basically forget everything you know. Literally every single skill will be changing to some degree, so don't expect your existing character to perform the exact same once the update drops. Expect that you'll need to respec your passive tree and test out skills and relearn what works well. And it's likely they will provide a free passive tree respec for existing characters as well. But let's assume that you want to play on the new league with a fresh economy, as that's where most people will want to be. In that case, the main thing that you can do now to get a head start is learning and or practicing acts 1 through 3. Since we're not getting any new acts with this update, the leveling experience will be largely the same as it is now, and given that we currently have to play through each act twice in the campaign, once on normal and once on cruel, each act you practice will essentially make 1/3 of your campaign quicker. If you decide to do this and create a new character to practice, you should probably avoid using items from your stash that you've already acquired through other characters. Like I said earlier, a few good pieces of gear can go a long ways, so if you just throw on a bunch of good items from your stash, you will probably fly through the content with ease, and it won't be a very good representation of what your playthrough will actually look like at league start. If you want a little extra help learning the 3 acts and some guidance on how to get through them quickly, Lolcohol is releasing a series of videos going over the layouts of maps in each act as well as written guides on mobalytics for them. The description of this video will contain links to the first in his series, which subsequently will have links for acts 2 and 3 if you're interested in checking those out. Now let's talk about some things for you to do once the update is actually out, and how you should approach leveling on your first character of the league to make your life a little bit easier and set you up well moving forward. If you're not sure what build to play, and you're not someone that has time to test everything out yourself, or you don't feel like trying to make your own build, the first couple of days will likely be a little bit iffy on resources while everyone is still learning how everything performs with the balance updates, new skills, new support gems, and whatnot. So you can check out sites like Maxroll and Mobalytics to look for leveling guides, but they may not be updated for the new content just yet, so you'll want to take them with a grain of salt. They could probably get you started though until the guides have been updated, and then you can shift once you find something that's current and looks like you'd like to try it out. Keep an eye out on YouTube and Twitch for some of the big PoE2 creators, as they will likely be among the first to find out what's working well and what's broken, and you may be able to get some guidance by following their lead. As you're playing through the campaign, especially early on in the league and on your first character, You're going to want to be checking vendors for gear regularly. Like I said earlier, a few good pieces of gear can go a long way. Vendors update every time you level, so be sure you're checking them often. If you see something with plus skills that you're using, or really anything that you think that would be good for your build that you don't think you would replace pretty quickly, it's probably worth picking up. You're also going to want to keep an eye out for things that you know others would want. For example, with this league, the Huntress is brand new. A lot of people are going to be playing it. So if you have a good spear drop with plus skills, or really just good rolls in general, you can probably make some pretty good money throwing it up on the trade site, especially in the early days of the league. I'd also guess that anything with plus to minion skills will sell really well too, considering we have Spectres and Tame Beast coming. And the Lich is a new Ascendancy with this league as well. Also, be sure early on at least, you're picking up items both to sell and to disenchant. You'll want to do a combination of the two, because if you're starting fresh, you're going to need to accumulate both crafting currencies and gold. Later on, the value of gold drops off, but early it's very important. You'll need gold both to be able to respec your passive tree, and if you find any good items worth picking up from vendors. When it comes to crafting currencies, be sure you're spending them wisely early on in the league. If you've been playing since launch, you've probably accumulated tons and got to the point where you really don't think twice about using them. But at the start of a league, they're less common and can be more valuable. Don't feel like you can't use them, but I typically only use them on gear that I know is already an upgrade and that I think I'll be keeping for a bit. In general, just be mindful of the economy. At the original launch of the game, the value of Divine Orbs started out at like roughly 10 Exalted Orbs. At one point they got up to like 700 or something, and are currently sitting a little over 400. So if you're able to get some Divines early, you'll probably want to hold on to them rather than use them or trading them for other currency. Or if you happen to have some currency on you and you see Divines that are selling for cheap, it'd probably be worth spending the Exiles early just to hold on to the Divines for a bit. Now keep in mind that the reason Divine Orbs are so valuable right now is because of their use case. The existence of uniques like Ingenuity give people a reason to use Divine Orbs on them to try and get good rolls, and Ingenuity is almost certainly getting a nerf with this update, so it's very possible that it's no longer as enticing to use Divine Orbs on them. But with over 100 new uniques being added in this update, hopefully there's still good reason for people to use Divine Orbs. One thing that I think could gain some value in this update is the artifacts from Expedition. In the current league, artifacts aren't worth much because the rewards for trading them in really aren't that enticing. But with Dawn of the Hunt, we'll be able to spend artifacts on recombination to try and craft items with multiple good modifiers. The more modifiers you try and craft, the lower your rate of success, which means we should have a pretty good sync for artifacts now. Expedition is one of the easiest endgame mechanics, or at least it was in the last league, so you might be able to make some decent money by farming Expedition and selling those artifacts. I think that about covers the tips I have for starting the new league, but let me know in the comments below if you have any. Excluding the original early access launch, the only time that I've played at league start was the free show event in PoE1, so I'd love to hear any tips you may have. If this video helped you out at all, be sure to toss it a like or subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a ton and is greatly appreciated. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.